assemble teams from the best of Australia's car building and car tuning workshops to see who can build the toughest street monster. Our teams will go head to head in a final fuel-burning, rubber-shredding competition. With only 2 weeks to go, our teams are really under the pump. Today, we check in with Hayden Performance as they inject V8 power into the VK. Nathan Higgins tests his new naturally aspirated LS weapon. And the boys from Horsepower Factory turn up the wick on this WRX STI. But first, we head down to Valley Grunt as they drop the dog back into the 55 Pontiac.
Down here at Charlie Saliba's in Springvale at his famous factory. Basically, we've custom machined a harmonic balancer to suit this engine because there's no harmonic balancer for an early Pontiac available to suit supercharger applications. Basically, that'll sit like that, and that'll run directly off the end of the harmonic balancer and run our supercharger. People can these motors, they think that they're just not worth the time and effort to build. But they actually are, because you can interchange any cylinder head package, you can run anything on these heads, and the engine displacement, you're not limited at 316 cubes or a small amount larger. This is the pistons we're using. So this has been dished down to get the correct compression ratio that we want, but it still has a quite low pin height. The original 56 piston has a pin that sits around about here. It's a very tall piston, and the piston tends to rockety up and down the bore, and it causes excessive wear over time, and this just makes the piston a little bit more stable. Hey Marcus, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Sorry I'm late again, but anyway, at least I'm here.
No, that's all right. So you've been keeping busy. Got all the bits and pieces ready for you. A couple of carbies. So yeah, all the ARP bits to hold it all together.
Also too, I'm going to need some old school chrome dual fuel lines that I can link them up together.
Yeah,
they're still available.
Yeah, we've got the old chrome lines there still, so.
Excellent. Now, you were saying you had some tyres that I had to have a look at.
Yeah, we've got the tyres here for you. So we've got some slicks.
Yep. Cool.
We've got the Mickey tops and slicks for you, so they should hook up nicely once we start running down the quarter.
That's it. So, yeah, they look nice and soft. Thank you very much.
No worries.
No worries.
Right, thanks for coming down.
Yep, no worries. Thank you.
Certainly get this thing moving.
That's it. Let's do it. The diff is all finished. We've got a 35 spline axle Pontiac 9¾ I've rebuilt all the entire diff from drum to drum. It's got brand new brake lines, brand new hoses, everything is all rebuilt. The diff should handle 2,000 plus horsepower now quite easily. The yellow paint that we put on the car that was new now looks like it's 50, 60 years old. So Amy keeps hitting me with the imperfect bat saying it's not supposed to be perfect.
This is killing Shane. Shane likes his cars shiny. It's absolutely killing him that he has to rub back the paint and that he can't re-chrome them on the butt. It is killing him. He's trying to sneak shiny things onto the outside of my car, and I got so sick of saying no more shiny stuff on the outside of my car that I made a sign and I just point it at him now.
Today we're going to fit the engine and transmission into the car. We have bored it out 96 thou and we have stroked it to 3.3. So that's made the engine from 316 cubes to 336 cubes, which should get it moving okay, considering the 316 made about 203 horsepower as a 2-barrel, which is what it was. And hopefully we can better that and double it, maybe triple it, now that it's supercharged, and we're using 57 Pontiac heads, which are a much larger port than the 316 heads.
Well, I help my mum and dad in the workshop, regularly. My plan is to be a fabrication engineer when I'm older and then help my dad work on cars just for the rest of my life. Yeah, my mum is pretty awesome that she can do lots of things like build cars, stuff like that. When Mum can no longer drive her car, I want to take it and do burnouts every day in it.
So I've already lost my car before I can even drive it.
In building this car, we needed to have on board a lot of people that could help us out with parts and supply some workmanship. These people that I've chosen are actually my suppliers and tradesmen that I use at the moment, and the reason why I use these people is because they have the same passion that I do. It's a passion that's down in our souls. If you really need somebody to build a car, you need somebody that has the same passion and love for the car that you have. If you don't have that love, you don't have that passion, the car is an inanimate object. It has no meaning. It's just a car, really. The motor's in. We've still got to pop a hole for the shifter. Once we pop a hole for the shifter, the engine will sit a little bit higher in the rear. But this is, we're getting there. It's starting to look like a car again. So, like it was about 8 weeks ago.
Next up, Nathan drops in on an old mate at Dandy Engines to see if he can break the 800 horsepower barrier with his latest LS prototype.
I've been around cars since the age of, for as long as I can remember. Raced cars from the age of 18, and from there, it's just been a passion that's never stopped. The Dandy Engines XW, it's a 1969 Falcon, or Fairmont at that. Lou purchased it back in 2004, and it's probably seen a bunch of different combinations, leading to where it is now, being the fastest. The best part about our car, it teaches us a bunch of information where we can apply to our customers here at Dandy Engines. It really gives us the forefront to try and put our customers, not just where we are, even further forward in the power levels and power management systems. What makes the car so unique, it's a leaf spring standard suspension car, which makes it even trickier to get down the track. It's got a real small tyre on there, but it's got a bunch of horsepower. The process of making it get down the track is all electronic based. It's mechanical and electronic based combined together, and it's probably the best challenge about it is working with electronics to work out how to manage the power to the tyre. One of the best things about the car is its attitude on the start line. It finds itself to be very aggressive from time to time when we turn it up, and it's an amazing feeling to feel the power pushing the seat and the front's coming up, and then you got to try and figure out, should I get off it, should I waste a run? So it's definitely a ride that I wish I could experience with more people. We started the testing day out with running a 7.2 at like 199 mile an hour, and we progressed each run to a 7,000, which is like a thousandths away from our golden 6-second pass. The 6-second pass, it would be Australia's first genuine street car 6-second pass. Our goal is definitely to run the first 6 as soon as possible. I think Nathan's working on a new pair of heads as we speak, and hopefully within the month we're going to be out trying again. We've got a dyno session tonight with Nathan's engine, which is an LS engine, probably one of the world's most popular V8s at the moment. The most unique thing about this motor, it's a stock block. It's got like an upgraded internal rotating assembly, one of Nathan's cylinder head programs and one of his own manifold programs. And it's astonishing how much power it makes in such a standard configuration. The goal tonight was to make 800 horsepower with the stock block naturally aspirated. We like pushing the boundaries. That's what it's all about here at Dandy Engines. We're not going to sit still. When everyone goes home at night, we're still thinking about what we're going to do tomorrow to try and be out in front. That, in conjunction with what Nathan does, it works hand in hand where making horsepower, you need someone developing a cylinder head and a manifold constantly while we're developing the actual engine program, and that makes a great difference. So we've just finished Nathan's engine. The engine made 647 foot-pounds of torque and 808 horsepower. And that's just like a big number for such a stocky type of engine. Like it even has stock rockers on there, which never thought it would do that with a stock block and naturally aspirated. So that's pretty impressive in my books. Yeah, obviously the manifold and heads are doing the job. It opens the doors to so many projects to make power without guys having to put turbos and nitrous on their engines.
When your car is due for its next scheduled oil change, some old oil may remain in your vehicle's engine, which is normal. What happens is the remaining old oil mixes with the new oil, making it look dirty. That is why it's important to use the Blue Chem Oil System Cleaner. This will lead to reduced fuel consumption, reduced oil consumption, reduced emissions and improved engine compression. Coming up, Matt from HPF adds over 100 kilowatts to this pocket rocket.
We've had a customer approach us with a 2018 STI, okay, so WRX STI, so it's an EJ25 boxer engine. Now the end goal for this car is to build an engine. All of the hardware we're going to fit will be to support that engine later on. We're not going to be able to use all of it now and get the most out of it because we've still got the standard short block to deal with, but everything we're going to put in once so we don't have to do it again later on. Here we are, we've got all our MY18 components laid out on the bench. Just to my left here is the standard top mount intercooler. We're replacing it with a front mount intercooler from Process West. This is located behind the grille and it'll get direct airflow as the car's moving. Additionally, the engine cooling fans will draw air through it when the car's idling as well, and that's a really good thing in terms of taking heat out. So we have got a Process West engine oil cooler, and that works in conjunction with the factory oil cooler, and that'll take the heat away just like the intercooler does. It's a radiator for the engine oil. We can't put all this air in without adding fuel, and we're going from these standard fuel injectors to 1300cc ID injectors. We're replacing the factory fuel pump with a Walbro pump. This is their new big banger, also E85 compliant, and that will work really, really well in this application. Now to the guts, the difference in the turbos. That's pretty obvious, yeah? So factory turbo, these are a good thing, and these will support 200 kilos at the wheels with a good intercooler and exhaust. But this is next level. So it's a Garrett 3076. So this will support up to 660 horsepower. That's a lot. We've got to make a custom air intake for this car, which will come over towards where the factory airbox was. And that's the sort of filter that we're going to use, as opposed to this factory one here. We are doing flex fuel in this car, which means we can run E85, pump fuel, any mix of those fuels, and it's all controlled by our marine mapping, but via a Cobb access port, which is this device here. We fit a flex fuel sensor, and that reports back to the ECU the amount of ethanol in the fuel, and it'll adjust the tune accordingly. So it's a really cool feature. We're going to add headers. These also help with spool, so getting the turbo up working nice and quick and makes the car more drivable. The downpipe here, we're going to put a cat into that, but that really wraps up the main components of what's going to turn this MY18 STI into a good strong car, into a beast. How'd you go, Marty? All chewed up on the dyno?
Yep, come up awesome. So we tuned it first on 98 and got 250 kilowatts.
Big power.
It was big power. We sort of really capped it there. We probably could have pushed it harder with this turbo, but thought, we'll keep it safe. And then put E85 in it and kept the same boost level and just adjusted the timing and stuff to suit the fuel and got up to sort of 260. Yeah, right. But a big gain through the mid-range.
Okay. Really, and how much boost have we been up running?
Just under 20 pounds.
Yeah, okay. So that's nice and safe. Like that's not a big boost level.
No, it's not. No, and I reckon that if we crank the boost up, this thing can make some real power.
Yeah. So I think we're going to go and do some road testing now, and we'll let you know how we go.
No worries.
So out road testing the 2018 STI. These come out with about 221 kilowatts standard and 407 newton meters. We've taken this car to 360 kilowatts and about 645 newton meters. So this thing goes all right. And you know that when it's time to build an engine, we take this from 19 pound to about 25 pound, it'll be an absolute animal. But still you can use it as a daily if you wanted to. But what I do find is just cruising around, I can get enough boost to just make this thing drivable. It's not a pig, it pulls cleanly. It's just a really nice car. One of the key factors of adding the ethanol has really changed the mid-range. And we're talking without any more boost, just timing, it's picked up 60 kilowatts in the mid-range at the wheels. That's a lot. You're going to notice the difference with that. So if you can get ethanol, you certainly want to be using it in this car whenever you could, because that mid-range torque is just massive. By remapping these cars, we still maintain all the functions down here of the SI drive. So you've still got your Sport Sharp and all those different modes. So if you want to putt around it, you can. If you want that instant throttle response, you can. Just flick the switch like normal. And all these modifications hasn't taken away from what such a good car it is. It's just made it better. So for all intents and purposes, right now, this engine doesn't know any different. It still thinks it's standard, and essentially it is. It's only that just a toe tap away is 20 pounds of boost.
After the break, HBW pull out all the stops to get the VK ready in time to hit the track on race day.
So the plan today, Ben's going to fit up the heads that I've just picked up from Nathan at Higgins, and he's going to get those fitted up to the engine. We're going to get the engine in, fit the dress-up kit in, and hopefully try and get the brakes and calipers on too.
So we've pulled the motor down, new cam, new oil pump, all tidied, ready to go. The heads go back on the motor with new head gaskets, then everything's got to be torqued down in a particular way. And get the motor on the K-frame, get that mounted in the car, and also get the front suspension in, make sure we got clearance for everything.
My plan is to get the engine in up from underneath the car. Usually we'd use a hydraulic stand. I've got a great idea to put it on a hoist and get one of the guys on each corner and lift it on there. Ben doesn't think it's such a great idea, but I think it'll work out.
Brenton came up with the ingenious idea of putting the motor and K-frame on some sawhorses and lowering the car onto it, which was his idea, so I have no part in that.
So the dress-up kit that we've got is we imported from the States, so it's to suit big engine bays. The engine bay in the VK is not quite as big, so we're going to have to do a little bit of trimming and moving around just to get the top clearance on the bonnet. But that's simple for us, so we'll get that sorted out. Yeah, so Ben's our metal welder and I'm our plastic welder, so I'm pretty good with that side of things, so we'll get that sorted out well and truly. I'm really happy with how it's come together. The dress-up kit has sort of enclosed off all the emissions, pipework and everything that we're trying to hide, and the colour really blends in well with the engine bay.
So we've put the whole front strut assembly in, brakes, rotors, with the new coilovers, so we can test fit the wheel, check clearance, and go from there. Yeah, the ride height, Brenton has everything low, so it should be set up pretty low, as with all of his cars. But the joys of coilovers is it's all adjustable, so we can change it for whatever conditions arise.
Very happy with the look. I think we've hit the mark where we're trying to hit, so that Pro Street look with the front runners, it's coming together really well.
Yeah, so deadline's coming up short, there's still a lot of work to do. The joys of having customers' cars taking priority over everything else, but that's just the way the game goes.
Ben and I, our plan is just to put a couple beds in the workshop and sleep here every night for the rest of the month, but we'll get there, we'll get it done. We've been doing long nights. Lucky we've had Dan up the road at Sinatra's Pizza, just in Bayswater here, to sort of save us, bringing us pizza. And we've sort of been living off it for the last 3 or 4 days. Today we're going to get into the interior side of things. We've cut all the holes out for where the seats go. We're going to lay out the new carpet, put all the holes in the new carpet, ready to put the seats on, and then we can bolt the seat frames down to the floor. Start reassembling the door trims, getting all the moulds and all the seals and that together in the car, the steering column and the steering wheel. We've had a transmission built by Paul Rogers, who was kindly enough to get that put through pretty quick for us. We've got a TCE converter to go in there. We'll get all that bolted in with the diff, make a tail shaft. We'll be ready to do the wiring and all the fuel lines and whatnot. So we've been really busy the last few weeks. Our customer intake has sort of been a bit larger than normal, so we've been really struggling to get everything sort of finished and get to the VK at the same time. So we are pushed for time, trying to squeeze it in between all those customer jobs that sort of pay our way, I guess. But you know, we're hoping we'll sort of make that deadline.
Next time on Rides Down Under Workshop Wars, Superformance are all hands on deck as they race the clock to finish the T-Bucket on time. And Rob Vickery from the Horsepower Factory puts a big blower on this modern day classic. If you think you've got what it takes to be part of Workshop Wars, contact us for our next season.